Hi there, welcome to I Don't Know Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Gemini energy. And we're going to initially read it from the perspective of people who harness some high vibe Gemini energy. Because we all have free will. We grow and mature and shed some layers of our fear and our insecurity and our more self limiting belief nature to have hope and faith and belief in our dreams. And that's initially how we're going to read it. But we might have dealt with some people in our life who aren't willing to give up some of their old ways of being, or they don't believe in love. They might be more aligned with their worldly nature. Maybe money and materialism is more important to them, but we're going to see what comes out in the story. Okay. So first of all, we got the Chariot in reverse and the Five of Swords. And the reason that came out is because of the Death card. So what that can mean is that you're no longer moving forward with someone because that person could be someone who has a lot of mental conflict about these other cards. And it talks about investing in truth, to quit making it about maybe like being inspired more by pride and ego and image and materialism. And you could have felt someone was trying to stop you from growing and maturing yourself, because the Death card talks about emotionally detaching from old ways of being to transforming your life and giving birth to something new. And we should hopefully be doing that throughout our life, as we have a lot of layers to our more immature, indulgent, selfish, greedy, prideful, lazy, egotistical, petty, envious, jealous, blaming everyone else. That's all of our worldly nature. And hopefully as we grow during our life, hopefully we shed some of those layers, some sooner than others, hopefully, like our more immature, self-centered nature, But life is all about growing and maturing yourself. And someone didn't want you to maybe change because they might like staying in this type of energy, which is where you don't get in the driver's seat of your own life. You don't take the reins of your dualistic nature and say, I am going to emotionally detach from old ways of being to look at life from a higher perspective. And high vibe Five of Swords, which is Aquarius energy. Some people in their Aquarius energy and their Scorpio nature, they don't have to be born under those sun signs. We can all harness these energies whichever way we want. Their view of life could be that we do make our life about aligning with our worldly nature, our more fearful or insecure or self-centered or egoic nature, which is like non-life-giving energy. We were born in the world as a human being. If we want to grow to our full potential, we have to offset some of our worldly nature, our fear, our insecurity, our immature, egotistical nature, to grow and mature ourselves, to see life from a higher perspective, to have some hope and faith and belief in ourselves and becoming all that we can be. And some people have a mental conflict about that because their dream could have always been, for one, Scorpio energy, it's emotional water sign energy. For some, in their emotional nature, they like to keep their emotions and their intuition probably buried beneath the surface. They might be someone who likes to live a more emotionally shallow, more superficial life, because if you are willing to invest in love and invest in the competition, the overall energy for the reading is the Ten of Wands, which is Sagittarius energy, which means you'd have to be willing to invest in starting fresh, in starting new. You'd have to invest in not making it just about your wants, your needs, your lust, your greed, your pride, your ego. You'd have to educate yourself and wrap your brain around this game of life, that life is about seeing the truth, that if we keep living our life in a more superficial, egotistical, materialistic, where that is the driving factor for the decisions we make in our life, it's going to cause us a lot of inner conflict because it's overwhelming. If we don't grow and mature ourselves and have hope and faith and belief in ourselves, and we think, no, I don't have to do love, I could get hurt doing that. No, I need to compete in the world. It's all about keeping up with the Joneses. I would think that could be someone that doesn't is deriving their sense of worth and value based on how other people in the world perceive them instead of them doing that work within themselves to free themselves, because our shadow nature is also represented by the devil and our loving nature is represented like by God or the divine, we're meant to free ourselves from our more beastly base nature of selfishness and greed and lust, and it's like things of the world are meant to be enjoyed but not at the expense of love. It's from a place of love to enjoy the world and enjoy other people and all the things that there is to enjoy in the world. And some people just don't want to take a risk in love. Maybe they don't believe in love. Maybe they don't believe there's any higher purpose to being on the planet than what the world tells you to do. So, if you're in a relationship with some people like that who didn't want you to change because they're unwilling to change, they're not willing to step out of their comfort zone, they're not willing to deal with their own inner conflict and their maybe competitive nature or their kind of bossy or controlling or prideful or egotistical nature, because they could be fine living their life that way. And they might like to be in relationships with other people who don't believe in themselves, who also prefer to live a more emotionally shallow life and stay in relationships because it looks wonderful by worldly standards, because the Five of Swords is Aquarius energy, and you could look very successful in the world by worldly standards. It's just not maybe based on love. It's maybe not very emotionally balanced. It might be superficial and shallow, and you could be in relationships with people who are prideful and egotistical or just have a lot of mental conflict within themselves. And I think some of you decided you are ending that and you're not moving forward with people like that anymore. And High Vibe Scorpio talks about being able to emotionally detach, to transform your life and give birth to something new. And in the Page of Pentacles, you are willing to take the lessons you've learned from that life experience to start fresh, start new. And with the Ace of Wands in reverse, I think it's realizing that you're no longer going to invest in people who overwhelm you, maybe try to overwhelm you. The Ten of Wands can also be Sagittarius energy, people who are kind of immature players and they have a lot of growing up to do. And you're also trying to be really practical and grounded and not kind of maybe take impulsive, reckless action. And you're just trying to, because the Page of Pentacles would be Virgo and Taurus and Capricorn energy. And it is putting in a lot of time, energy, effort on moving forward in truth and love as you work through your own inner conflict within your own foundation. Because we go from the One Wand to the Five of Wands, and that means in between these is the Four of Wands, and that can represent your own foundation. So I think you're investing a lot of time, energy, and effort to emotionally detach, focused on, in High Vibe Sagittarius, educating yourself, wrapping your brain around this game of life to realize that not everybody has the same dream. Some people have a very worldly focused life that they want, and it's not love that drives them, motivates them. We have to, the Ace of Swords talks about seeing the truth about the competition. There are some people who are aligned with the competition. They're aligned with their more worldly nature, egoic nature. They could be very competitive. They could be very prideful, egotistical. They could be people who are emotionally shallow and superficial, kind of more immature in their worldly nature. They could be people who reject taking creative, inspired action within their own foundation to see the truth. Because the truth is what sets us free so that we can move forward. And you're giving it everything you've got to have a new beginning. And the other people could just find the thought of all the work they'd have to do within themselves to get out of their ego, to get out of their fear, get out of their insecurities, get out of their more emotionally defensive nature. And the whole thought of doing all of that could seem overwhelming. And the truth is, they want to invest in their own truth. And everybody's got free will. And their truth could be, I want to align with the competition. We have a dualistic nature. We live in a dualistic world. If they want to align with the competition, which is a lot, making their life more about the world, indulging in the world, indulging themselves, maybe being self-centered, prideful, egotistical. If that's how they want to live their life, they have the free will to do that. We just need to see the truth and not be in denial that that's what some people choose. And then some people are very competitive. Some of those people that you could have moved away from, they could have invested in someone else and it didn't move forward like they thought it would, and it could have ended. Some of those people now could be thinking of making an investment in you. They're still not inspired by maybe having good boundaries within themselves against their more egoic nature, but they're going to offer you these things of the world, them or someone else. Negative energy always exists in the world. And if you're someone who's trying to move forward in truth and love, there's going to be people who want to be in a relationship with you because you're probably just and fair and warm and loving and giving and nurturing and encouraging and supportive. And, you walk the talk kind of person. And you're probably creative and inspired and bright and intelligent on top of it, being Gemini energy, And people want to be in a relationship with you, but it could be more because they feel overwhelmed. Something they had been in didn't work out. And you're going to have to listen to your intuition. You could invest in new people as you're moving forward, but you're not maybe going to take passionate action towards them initially. Maybe in the Page of Pentacles, it's kind of like an innocent start, like you do when you first meet people. And it's just to get to find out the truth about their Leo energy. How do they harness their Leo energy? Shadowy Leo energy is more aligned with the world, being in your pride and ego. High vibe Leo energy is people who've changed, people who've gotten out of their egoic nature, who invested time and energy into educating themselves to see that the truth is about being authentic, being open, being loving, being warm. You can still have great boundaries with people, but it's like relationships are supposed to be just and fair and balanced. You're supposed to treat other people the way you like to be treated. You shouldn't be stubborn and prideful and egotistical and self-centered and all those things and think things should work out just fine. High vibe people are illuminated to the truth. If I want other people to treat me in a just, fair, loving, warm manner and authentic, I should be authentic and loving and warm and just and all those things. So you could have different people coming towards you as you're moving forward. And some of those people, both of them, all of the different people that could be coming towards you, they could be coming towards you for different reasons. Some of them could really be motivated to get in a relationship with you because the truth is they're really competitive. Or they want to cause a lot of inner conflict for someone who entered a relationship with them before. And some of the people you might have moved away from might have decided to invest in something new in order to cause you a lot of inner conflict. Because people who've empowered themselves aren't making decisions in their life based on those things. You're making decisions in your life based on the truth and what's loving and kind and all those good things. People who are in shadow energy, though, that can be the envy and the jealousy and the competitiveness. And some of those people could be investing in new relationships just because they're competing with you. They're afraid you're going to get in a loving, warm relationship because you're a loving, warm person. Well, they don't want you to beat them and get in a relationship before them, so they might get in a relationship because they're very competitive. They also might get in a relationship because they have a lot of inner conflict. And instead of doing the work within themselves to empower themselves and heal themselves and grow and mature themselves, they're still making decisions out of fear and insecurity and pride and ego. And some people might get in a relationship because they're very competitive in the world. And some people view being in a relationship as like it says something about their worth and value. For other people, they could want to get in a relationship just because they're overwhelmed. So you're going to have to listen to your intuition about people who come towards you. You're going to invest in speaking your truth about maybe how you've changed, maybe about how you've been overwhelmed and in the past and what you're moving towards. You want to find out how they've changed, how past relationships ending, the mental conflict it caused them, if they were in relationships with people that weren't very loving, who were emotionally shallow and superficial, or weren't very emotionally balanced, and people who tried to make them responsible for everything, just like you've probably been in a relationship where it's like, oh no, I'm like the shining star. You're supposed to put in all the work to make this relationship keep moving forward. I'm just along for the ride. Look how successful we look, and you should keep putting in that work and effort to maintain this. But they don't put in work and effort to maintain it. Um, so let's get some clarifiers on here. Some of you, as you're detaching from one situation, a job, a relationship, or whatever, you could be investing in someone. You could have made an offer to someone that you view as, you know, kind of the competition to this former person. And this person was aligned with like non life giving energy. And this could be someone who you believe is motivated and inspired, who aligns with truth and love. And you didn't try to maybe use your sexuality, you tried to offer maybe resources or just reaching out in kind of that, you know, pure innocent way of, I don't have any ulterior purposes other than to get to see what your truth is. And you might want to come together with someone new or a new workplace and have a new inspired beginning with someone, because the 5 comes after the 4, and the 4 of Wands is about coming together with people in joy and celebration and having a new beginning. Tell us about some of these people in Sagittarius's past or soon to be past. Judgment card because of the Knight of Wands. Yeah, you might have felt like you were in a relationship with someone who's kind of indulgent again. They could be prideful, egotistical, emotionally shallow, but they think they should be able to like sexually indulge in a relationship with you without ever growing or maturing or being authentic or loving or warm, hoping that you won't love and believe in yourself. And if it looked very successful by worldly standards, that you'd keep staying in the relationship and stay in it. For some of them, if you weren't willing to indulge them being the way that they were in a relationship in a shadowy way, they decided they didn't want to be in a relationship with you anymore because they want to be in a relationship with people who will indulge them being immature. And you wanted to move forward in a way where people move forward. They let go and detach from some of those old ways of being to really invest in truth and love. And this person could have been like, no way, man, I'd get hurt doing that. And some people, their whole life objective is to make sure their more vulnerable, emotionally authentic nature never comes out in the world to play. It could get hurt. People who have never worked on growing and maturing themselves emotionally to feel like they can weather the storms of life don't even want to go there. They'd rather just keep their authentic nature hidden, wear like a social mask, get in relationship, hope other people don't love and believe in themselves, that'll stay in a relationship with them because of the image or the status or whatever, and they can keep being this like self-centered, superficial person having sex with people, but it's not really authentically from a place of love because they could get hurt doing that. So you decided you were going to start fresh and new. Tell us about Gemini's new beginning. Oh, and it is true that you can get in a relationship with people and needless, you invested in them, you could have loved that person, you were trying to move the relationship forward, but you're no longer investing in your more, kind of letting your more fiery nature, or I love them, or passionate nature. It's about, here you were maybe letting your heart run your life a little bit more because the Chariot card is Cancer energy about love and home and family. And then it's kind of, I've learned the lesson I've meant to learn. And I think we go on all these adventures in our life to learn about making decisions from our heart and learning to make decisions from our mind and learning to make decisions in our passionate, creative nature and, our thoughts and all that. And it's just all part of it. And you're kind of investing more in, I think you've learned some hard lessons letting love run your life, and you're being more practical and grounded now. So we start out with the Knight of Pentacles, investing in a new beginning. You went within to gain insight and understanding because that's what Virgo energy is about. And then you found that you gained that insight and understanding about living your life that way. And in the Page of Pentacles, you're holding that new page, that new lesson, and you're emotionally, it's a lesson you learn because the feminines in tarot talk about our emotional nature, so it doesn't matter if you're male or female. You invested the time, energy, and effort to emotionally be willing to start fresh and new and to take your past life experiences to add to your foundation, to not be as naive or as gullible or whatever as you were before, and to move forward and invest in the Queen of Pentacles, which is emotionally investing in yourself, growing and maturing yourself, going from a Page of Pentacles emotionally to a Queen of Pentacles emotionally, and realizing that to love yourself and believe in yourself is a free will choice, and detaching from the past that you had at one time really been holding on to and wanted to hold on to. It could have been a way of thinking, it could have been a way of life, it could have been a relationship or a job, but you're realizing, listening to your intuition, because that's also what the feminine figures can talk about, is us connecting in with our emotions and our intuition, is taking the lessons you've learned to move your life forward, to step out of your comfort zone, and detaching from the past to move forward because you want to be in long-term, emotionally fulfilling, loving relationships. And why did all of this come out? Because of the Ace of Pentacles. You are willing to, when the difference between you and people in your life who aren't moving forward, stepping out of their old ways of being and emotionally detaching from the past, the reason you are able to do that, well, for one, you probably are just naturally kind of a loving person. And when you get in relationships with other people who you realize aren't either very emotionally balanced, aren't very loving, maybe have a much more worldly view of life, don't want to grow and mature themselves, you are willing to call judgment on them and look at life as an adventure to be lived, that, we come across all these people in our life to get to the bottom of what their truth is versus what my truth is, for me to get clear about what my truth even is, and to learn lessons from those life experiences, and take those life lessons with me. And other people don't do that. They have relationships that don't work out, and they could it could cause them a lot of mental conflict, like it would have causes anybody. When someone we love isn't willing to move forward with us and a relationship ends, it causes us a lot of mental conflict. Well, do we harness high vibe Aquarius energy and look at life from a higher perspective and have hope and faith and belief in our dreams and invest in emotionally nurturing ourselves and loving ourselves and giving ourselves all the things that we wish those other people would have given us so we can heal from that wound and not be attracted to being in a relationship with those type of people again? Because I think if we haven't healed from the wound, we will keep being attracted to being in a relationship with people like that. It's kind of like, I want to win. I want you to choose me this time. Oh, are you selfish and greedy? I am determined to make a selfish, greedy person pick me. Pick love over selfishness and greed. Are you prideful and egotistical and defensive? I am bound and determined to make you love me and pick me. It's like repeating these past patterns of how we could have been hurt as children or growing up in relationships. And eventually, we can repeat that cycle a long time until we realize that I don't want to be in relationships like that anymore. I've been there, I've done that. I'm going to call judgment on people in my life who don't want to move forward and invest in truth and love. I'm going to gain insight and understanding to see the truth that some people have a lot more life lessons to learn. Maybe lessons I've already learned and they haven't learned them yet. And then the truth is, sometimes people are just immature. Some people are just self-centered and egotistical. It's just to indulge themselves, and it never is to be authentic and grow and mature themselves. And that's the difference, and that's why you can move forward in life, is because you are able to emotionally detach from past pain and heartbreak. You emotionally do invest in yourself. You do self-reflect to gain insight and wisdom about how did I contribute to that relationship not working out? How did they contribute to that relationship working out? Some people, they never want to go within to self-reflect. They never want to soul-search. They never want to see how they contributed to those relationships working out. And some of them, sadly, and like low self-esteem or whatever, just take it personally anytime anybody is in a relationship with them and think it says something about their worth and value. And it doesn't have anything to do with their worth and value. It has things to do with the choices you're making and what you're motivated in. And for some people, it could be that they've got to learn to love and believe in themselves. Some people are too full of themselves and they need to get out of their ego. But you self-reflected, and that's the difference. And emotionally, you grew and matured yourself and were willing, pride comes before the fall. You had to humble yourself and admit that you had lessons learned in life. And that maybe you didn't know everything, because knowing everything and thinking you know everything is you being in your pride and ego. And you were willing to admit that I had lessons learned in life. And I think the biggest lesson as human beings to learn is to learn to love and believe in ourselves. Everyone else can leave us out in the cold. Everybody else can be bossy and controlling and belittling and whatever. We're our only client and we're the manager of our life. And if there's one person in the world who every day should treat us with kindness and respect and encouragement, it should be us. That would be us aligning with our loving nature and kind of being like our own best mother, father, coach voice in our own head. And some people haven't learned to do that. And some of them think they should be indulged and that if they go get in a relationship with someone, other people will be like a mother or father to them. And some of them could be like children where they still think they're the center of the universe and everybody should treat them like they're a shining star and they can do no wrong and everybody should want to be in a relationship with them for some of them. So, needless, they're not going to self-reflect on the fact that they're very egotistical and self-centered. And you've seen the truth about the competition and you've dealt with your own shadowy nature. You want to align with your more loving nature. You've been in a relationship with people who are bossy and controlling and self-centered and unloving and superficial and shallow, and you're ready to get in a relationship with the competition. the people who align with truth and love. So tell us about this new beginning that Gemini wants to have, aligning with other people who have taken that bold, brave, creative action within themselves to love and believe in themselves and grow and mature themselves so they don't keep repeating these same patterns of living their life and relationship. Six of Pentacles because of the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles talks about our underlying, well, I guess both the six and the seven, they're Taurus energy, and it has to do with our underlying philosophy of life, how we view ourselves, how we view the world, what we think is possible, how we view relationships, what we think is like just and fair in relationships. And you want to be in relationships with people who've put in the work and effort to be balanced within themselves. And why? Because they invested in the truth. And they probably also invested in some people that were competitive or prideful or egotistical or whatever. And they also have seen the truth that it starts within us. When we do the work within ourselves to get balanced within ourselves and see the truth of how we sabotage ourselves, when we don't love and believe in ourselves and offer ourselves love and compassion and forgiveness to forgive ourselves for the mistakes we've made in life and to encourage ourselves and quit letting our fear or insecurities or whatever tip us out of balance, we have free will. Why aren't we choosing love every day? You know, and when we align and do that work, but the thing is, it takes work. And that's why some people don't do it. It takes investing time, energy, and effort. What thoughts am I going to invest in today? What emotions am I going to invest in and sit within? What thoughts am I going to sit within and ponder on? We have free will to choose to be hopeful and optimistic, to do the things in our life that make us feel at peace, bring us joy, reading books, listening to music, whatever it is, or we can choose to, our shadow nature is also being lazy, where we don't put in the work and effort and just hope everything will turn out okay, but it takes work and effort, if you want your divine inheritance, which is what the divine wants for you, it takes you learning to grow and mature yourself to your full potential. And when you align with that energy within yourself, you're not going to be investing time and energy in your shadow nature, and you're not going to be investing time and energy in other people who are trying to tempt you and encourage you to be in your fear, your insecurity, to not love and believe in yourself. You want to be around people who do encourage you to love and believe in yourself. So tell us about more about this new beginning for Gemini. The Ten of Pentacles, the High Priestess, the Strength card, the Ten of Swords, the Queen of Cups, and the Devil. And the reason is because of the Six of Swords. New levels, new devils, right? Sometimes we keep living our life the way we had been, and we go back to the old relationships or the old jobs or whatever because we're scared of, kind of like rather stay with the devil we know than a devil we don't know. But the whole thing is, again, if you kind of look at life as like a video game where you go up levels, there's going to be challenges to overcome on any level, but it's really hard to go back to a previous level of life because you've already been there. It'd be like being 30 and like, oh no, I want to be like I was 18 again. That was such a fun time in my life. It's not gonna work the same, and odds are you'll really kind of backslide in your life again because you've already been there. You've already been 18. You already learned the lessons you were meant to learn from that. And yes, as you get older, there's different obstacles and challenges and new levels of confidence that we need to work to get in. So for one way of reading this is that you're moving forward. You are expanding, you're moving forward in truth and love, expanding your perception of yourself and the world around you and what you believe is possible. And your foundation is listening to your intuition. You're tempering your fears, your insecurity. You're putting an end to loving the devil and loving your shadow nature and investing emotionally in people who are unloving, who move forward more in pride and ego, or materialistically, or selfishly, or controlling, or toxic, or whatever. And you're putting an end to that and moving forward with people like that. And you're loving your own worldly nature. Because again, the feminines can talk about our own emotional nature. As you keep moving forward in truth and love, it's learning new levels of loving and believing in yourself, because the devil can represent our shadow nature and our worldly nature. You're going to keep offering love to your worldly nature so that you can keep moving forward. I'm not going to let my worldly nature sabotage me. I'm not going to let my worldly nature and my fear and my insecurity keep me in a lot of mental conflict about believing in myself and believing in my dreams. I believe with love I can overcome all my fears and insecurities because I have a dream. And whatever we choose to align with within ourselves is eventually what we're going to manifest in our life. So you're no longer communicating and investing time and energy into people who aren't loving. And if there's some people that you would like to have a new beginning with, you're listening to your intuition about them. If your intuition is telling you that some other people in the world, if that's children, parents, siblings, friends, romantic interests, whatever, that you would like to have move forward with you, right now you're listening to your intuition, because we can't kind of stay in limbo land. We have to, right now I think you're maintaining your balance. I think there is someone or something, if that's a new job, a new relationship, a new friendship that you would like to invest in. And right now, with the two feminine figures there, I think you're listening to your intuition. If there's someone in your life that you would have like to have move forward with you, and your intuition could tell you that they're loving the devil right now, either other people in their life that they're enabling their poor behavior, and you're hoping they'll see the truth and detach from those people and come with you, or um, they're kind of loving their more, kind of indulging in their more worldly nature. You're hoping that they'll realize that there's nothing, it's not going to, you can't plant bad seeds and grow a good harvest. And if we make our life too tipped out of balance into the things of the world, it's not going to bear the fruit that we want. And you're kind of listening to your intuition about, for the divine to let you know when enough time has passed, in a way to know that apparently they haven't freed themselves and from whatever it is that, because the devil is about trying to block people and stop people, and then that manifests in the world. It can just be your own fears and insecurities and your worldly nature and your lustful greedy nature, but it also then can manifest in people in our life who also try to stop us from loving and believing in ourselves, and playing on our fear and our insecurity and instilling fear and insecurity in us, or playing on our lust or our greed. You might know some other people you'd like to have move forward with you, but you don't know if they'll overcome the things, the spiritual warfare they're dealing with in their life, either within themselves or with others. And either they'll put an end to that and they will move forward with you because they too are putting in the work right now, maybe to love and believe in themselves, to detach from some old ways of being, to choose love, and at which point you'll move. That'll be another person moving forward with you in your life or in the world with you. And there might be some people, more people other than whoever this was back here, who won't be moving forward with you because they also just, haven't won some of the battles within themselves that you have, or the devil talks about keeping people in illusion And they might have inner conflict about seeing the truth about themselves or their ego or their fear or other people in their life that they still have illusions about. And you'll listen to your intuition. And your intuition, I think, regardless, your intuition is like, just keep moving forward. If they do this work within them, eventually they'll communicate with you. If not, you're continuing to move forward in your life, living your life, assuming they're not coming with. But you're going to keep moving forward in truth and love. The people that are in more worldly energy, I think their truth is the competition, and they're going to try to maybe get more transactional relationships, because that could be how they view relationships, and it is about getting in relationships, and it's for the ego and the image and the status and looking like we're successful in the world. But it is more about, I don't know, using our sexuality to get what we want, maybe to try to get people to exchange financial resources with them, or to exchange just time, energy, effort, hugs, and kisses because they don't want to grow themselves up. But they're definitely kind of people aligned with their more egoic, worldly nature. And those people could love the devil, and they could love their worldly nature. They could love indulging in their lust and their greed and being in their pride and ego. Their foundation is going to harness these energies in a shadowy way. They're going to keep moving forward in pride and ego. Their foundation hides from the world that they operate from pride and ego. That they could have they backstab their own loving nature because they're more motivated and inspired to move forward with their loving nature. And they also could have sabotaged some loving people in their life because they were tempted. For some of them, they could have particularly been tempted by a Capricorn. But otherwise, they were just tempted by someone who has those things of the world that they want, or is willing to indulge them, being an immature player or a self-centered, egotistical person. Because if that person also wants to look like they're moving forward, if they want to look like a shining star in the world, and that's the most important thing, if they have someone in their life who wanted them to grow up and mature themselves, and they want to backstab that person because that person wasn't willing to put up with them either, then we might have two prideful, egotistical, immature people getting in a relationship. And that they should be in a relationship together because they'd be on the same page. And then from there, they would have to decide, are we willing to grow and mature ourselves? Because if some people got in relationships with people, sometimes people who are kind of, and we could all have been there at different, we were this person one time, another time we were this person, but we can get in relationships with people that are kind of more mature than us, more grounded than us, more, a lot of different reasons. But sometimes we get in relationships with people like that. We want them to keep indulging us where we don't have to grow up and mature ourselves. And sometimes you get on the same page with those people and you move forward. And I don't know. I just think it's kind of an injustice if someone is kind of more immature and indulgent and impulsive and reckless, or has their addictions, that they're not doing work and effort within that relationship to get on the same page. If that person is being loving and encouraging and supportive, that would be an injustice. And eventually the divine could step in too and say, this isn't moving forward anymore. We will cause something to happen that will require you to call judgment on this person, because it is not just and fair for someone who's being immature, selfish, and greedy, whatever, to be in a relationship with people who are being just and fair and loving. Eventually, that needs to come to an end. And with the Chariot and the Death card being universe cards, it's kind of like the universe stepped in to reveal the truth. You are operating from different foundations, and that other person is not putting in work and effort the way you're putting in work and effort, and you need to detach from them, because loving energy should be, working in the same household with the devil, per se. It encourages the devil to get out of its own predicament. So there you go, Gemini. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.